The Canon EOS R7 was a fantastic camera for so many of us, but let's be honest, it wasn't perfect. Now, with a rumored R7 Mark II supposedly on the horizon for late 2025, the chatter suggests Canon isn't just planning an upgrade, they might be building the APS-C camera we've all been asking for. We're hearing some wild rumors, like a potential price tag nearing to $1,000, hints of 8,000 video, and maybe even a new stacked sensor that could finally fix their R7's biggest flaw. So, is this the ultimate tool for wildlife photographers or just a pricey new toy for vloggers? We're going to break down everything we know based on the most credible rumors about the Canon EOS R7 Mark II. And hey, if you want to stay on top of all the latest camera news, make sure you're subscribed. Let's talk about the original EOS R7 before we get ahead of ourselves. Let's rewind. The original Canon EOS R7, which came out in 2022, is still a beast of a hybrid camera. It brought top-tier autofocus and incredible speed to the APS-C world at a price that was tough to beat. For anyone getting serious about wildlife, sports, or action photography, it was a game-changer, giving you that sweet 1.6x crop factor without breaking the bank. It really did make high-speed accessible. But no camera is perfect, and the R7 had one huge, frustrating weakness: rolling shutter. Anyone who tried to use that 30 frames per second electronic shutter to catch something moving fast like a bird taking off or a car racing by probably saw that awful jello effect. We're talking warped backgrounds, bent wings, and distorted subjects. It was a common complaint that forced a lot of people to stick with the slower 15 FPS mechanical shutter, which kind of defeated one of the camera's main selling points. On top of that, some folks found the body a bit cramped, especially compared to old-school DSLRs like the 7D series. And everyone was begging for more pro-level RFS lenses to match what the camera could do. Canon built a fantastic engine, but it felt like a few key things were holding it back. The solution: what the R7 Mark II rumors suggest. Okay, now for the exciting part. It really seems like Canon has been paying attention to all that feedback. The story that's forming around the EOS R7 Mark II isn't just about a small, step-by-step update. All the whispers suggest Canon is pushing this camera up market, aiming to create a real successor to the legendary EOS 7D Mark II and a new flagship for their entire APS-C lineup. The rumored specs paint a picture of a camera built to solve the original's problems while pushing the limits of what we expect from a crop sensor camera. But remember, for now, this is all just speculation. The sensor and processor of a new heart for the beast, the biggest rumor, and the one that could truly fix their R7's main issue, is the possible introduction of a new stacked CMOS sensor. This would be a game changer. A stacked sensor has a different architecture that reads data incredibly fast. In the real world, what does that mean? A massive reduction in rolling shutter. Those bent propellers and warped golf clubs you see in electronic shutter mode, they could be a thing of the past. This one change alone would finally let action photographers use the camera to its full potential. Now, rumors are a bit divided on the resolution. While the original R7 sits at a respectable 30.5 megapixels, there's talk that the Mark II could see a bump, with numbers floating around from 3.3MP all the way up to a more competitive 4MP. A 40-megapixel sensor would put it in direct competition with cameras like Fujifilm's X-T5 and give photographers way more room to crop a massive plus for wildlife shooters where every pixel counts. Of course, a new high-speed, high-res sensor needs a lot more processing power. That's why we're also hearing about a new processor, possibly pairing Canon's DIGIC-X engine with something called a DIGIC accelerator. This kind of setup promises lightning-fast processing, which wouldn't just help with burst shooting and video, but would also power smarter, AI-driven autofocus. Speed and autofocus, the ultimate action camera. If the rumors of a stacked sensor are true, the R7 Mark II could be an absolute speed demon. There's speculation that the burst rate could climb as high as 40 frames per second with the electronic shutter. That would be a huge leap, putting its speed right up there with professional flagship cameras. For anyone shooting sports or wildlife, grabbing 40 frames in 1 second can be the difference between nailing the shot and missing the perfect moment. There's also some pretty wild speculation that the R7 Mark II could be one of Canon's first cameras to get rid of the mechanical shutter entirely, relying only on its electronic one. This would mean totally silent shooting, perfect for quiet events, film sets, or easily spooked animals. It also means fewer moving parts, which could make the camera more durable. It's a bold move, one we've seen in cameras like the Nikon Z8, and it would show that Canon has supreme confidence in the new sensor speed. To go along with all that speed, the autofocus system is expected to get a major upgrade, likely borrowing algorithms from high-end models like the EOS R5 Mark II. Expect more reliable, sticky tracking that locks onto people, animals, and vehicles and doesn't let go. Some rumors even mention a pre-continuous shooting mode, where the camera starts buffering images the moment you half-press the shutter, so you can capture the action even if you react a split second too late. The Video Revolution -8000 in an APS-C body. While the original R7 is a solid video camera, the Mark II is rumored to be in another league entirely. One of the most electrifying rumors is the potential for 8K video recording. Now, 8K might feel like overkill, but it offers incredible flexibility. You can crop into a 4K or 1080p timeline without losing any quality, which is like getting multiple camera angles from a single shot. Even if 8K doesn't make it, the more conservative rumors are just as exciting. The inclusion of 4K at 120 frames per second. The original R7 could only do 12 FPS in HD, so getting that in 4K would be a massive upgrade for filmmakers who want that buttery smooth, high-res slow motion. This would likely be paired with pro features like 10-bit internal recording and C-Log 3, giving you much more room to play when color grading. Body ergonomics, and a professional feel. The inside upgrades are only half the story. The rumor mill strongly suggests the R7 Mark II will get a larger, tougher body with ergonomics that feel closer to the full-frame EOS R5 Mark II than the original R7. This would be a welcome change for those with bigger hands or anyone who felt the first one was a bit cramped. This redesigned body is also rumored to be compatible with professional accessories. We're hearing about a potential battery grip for better vertical shooting and double the battery life, and maybe even a cooling grip, which would be a lifesaver for videographers shooting long takes in high-res. The camera will also likely feature a dual memory card slot setup, one for a super fast Express Type-B card and another for a standard UHS to SD card, giving you both speed and flexibility. However, it's important to remember that these specific accessory details are still just rumors. Release date and price. When and how much? So, when can we actually get our hands on this thing? The general consensus among rumor sites points to a release in the second half of 2025, likely in the third or fourth quarter. An announcement could come before a major trade show like IBC in September, with cameras possibly shipping as early as October 2025. But again, nothing is official yet. Now for the million-dollar question, or in this case, the $2,000 question. With all these upmarket features, a price hike is almost certain. The original R7 launched at around $1,500. For the R7 Mark II, speculative prices are hovering around the $2,000 mark, with some suggesting it could even go as high as $2,500. This is a big jump, and it pushes the camera into a more prosumer or even professional price bracket. Canon seems to be betting that people will pay a premium for a camera that offers near flagship performance in a smaller package. Who is this camera for? If we put all these rumored pieces together, who is the Canon EOS R7 Mark II actually for? For wildlife and sports photographers, this camera sounds like an absolute dream. The mix of a rumored high-res stacked sensor, a blistering 40 FPS burst rate, the 1.6x crop for extra reach, and a smarter AF system could make it one of the best action cameras out there, period. For vloggers and hybrid creators, those rumored video specs are a huge deal. The potential for 8K, or more likely 4K 120p, paired with C-Log 3 and better ergonomics could make this a seriously powerful and versatile filmmaking tool. It would close the gap between APS-C and much pricier full-frame video cameras. For current R7 owners, the big question is, how much do the current limitations bother you? If rolling shutter has been your arch-nemesis, the rumored stacked sensor alone might be worth the upgrade. The leap in video and handling are just icing on the cake. And for the new buyer, the R7 Mark II is shaping up to be a baby R5 or a true mirrorless 7D successor. It's for the serious hobbyist or semi-pro who craves flagship speed without the full frame size, weight, and cost. So, what's the bottom line? The Canon EOS R7 Mark II is shaping up to be way more than just a minor update. It feels like a total reimagining of what a flagship APS-C camera can be. With a rumored stacked sensor-to-kill rolling shutter, a potential 40 FPS burst speed for insane action shots, and a massive jump in video with 4K 120p or maybe even 8K. It seems Canon is aiming for the stars. This camera looks like it's ready to blur the lines between APS-C and full frame, offering a pro-level tool for photographers and videographers alike. But that's what the rumors say. What do you think? Is there a 7 Mark to the camera you've been waiting for? Which of these rumored features are you most excited about? And is that potential $2,000 price tag fair for the performance? Or is it a deal breaker? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.